Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. It's kind of sad, it's honestly pathetic, how desperately dependent on these ridiculous tropes the left is. They can't engage in ideas, and so they just always revert back to the oldest, laziest smears, right? Donald Trump does something that's good for the economy, and they'll tell you, oh, well, I know your gas is cheaper, I know you're making more money relative to inflation, I know home costs less, but trust me, you're being played. Donald Trump is just enriching the billionaires, right? It's always the billionaires. It's the laziest trope. You don't have to actually have a fact-based argument. Just appeal to the trope. And they've got so many of these, like every Democrat walks around with a tool belt and they operate on a basic else-if statement. If asked this question, well then resort to this tool. They go on their handy-dandy belt, pull out the card and it says, you're racist. Or in this case, Donald Trump's doing actual good things for the country. Oh, well, let me go through the list. Yeah, you know exactly what card the Democrats are pulling. Donald Trump is just doing it for himself. It's all some ruse to enrich himself. It's the same response every time. If you say Donald Trump is doing this policy which will benefit regular people, they tell you, no, you're crazy. And actually, he's just doing it to enrich himself. Well, it seems people are getting tired with these ridiculous bot-like talking points. And one individual who seems to be oh so tired of it is none other than White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, who snapped during the White House press meeting after another lazy journalist again implied this complete nonsense. Let me show you guys exactly what happened and why, of course, the media is wrong. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so here's the moment in question.
I have a question about the Middle East trip. Will any of the president's family members, including Don Jr., Eric, or Jared Kushner, be joining him on the trip?
I am not tracking any of the president's family members joining us at this time, but of course, the first family is welcome to come. I hope they would. They're great people, great to be around, but I'm not tracking them on the manifesto.
And given that you noted he is a successful businessman, do you know if the president has any plans to meet with any of the folks involved with any of the family businesses over there, or see any of the sites that are going to be
Not to my knowledge, and let me just get to the premise of your question that both of you have raised. I think it's frankly ridiculous that anyone in this room would even suggest that President Trump is doing anything for his own benefit. He left a life of luxury and a life of running a very successful real estate empire for public service, not just once, but twice. And again, the American public reelected him back to this White House because they trust he acts in the best interest of our country and putting the American public first. This is a president who has actually lost money for being president of the United States. I don't remember these same type of questions being asked of my predecessor about a career politician who was clearly profiting off of this office. That is not what President Trump does, and this White House holds ourselves to the highest of ethical standards.
Absolutely beautiful. I mean, she buried this ridiculous talking point. And you know what? You can tell she's a little bit frustrated, and I think she's absolutely justified. She is right in her frustration. This whole notion of Trump enriching himself, when has it happened? I'd really like to know, because from what I understand, the guy's borderline lost it all. He almost lost his freedom. He was facing over $500 million in fines just in New York City alone. You had rogue prosecutors talking about they were going to shut his business down and start confiscating his buildings. Not to mention he had 2 attempts on his life. They tried throwing him behind bars for the rest of his life. I mean, this guy faced near total destruction. Where's he benefiting? Where are all these untold billions that he's receiving? Where are all the deals and the kickbacks? Yeah, they don't exist, because the exact opposite of what they're saying is true. Donald Trump isn't enriching himself. No, he's poured his heart, soul, and a good chunk of his net worth into his political endeavors. He's sacrificed it all so that he can deliver for America. And I love how this is all of a sudden a talking point now that Donald Trump's in office, but we had 4 years of Joe Biden, the guy whose entire political existence was nothing but, ooh, what can I get out of this? Ooh, I wonder what kind of shady backroom deals I can pocket with this new position that I found myself in. 4 years where that actually existed, that should have been front and center. Crackhead son raking in foreign cash and using his dad as the deal-making muscle? No, nobody's interested there, right? No journalists implying that the Biden family is enriching themselves off any of their diplomatic missions. But Trump gets in office and all of a sudden that's all we hear. It's a slap in the face, especially considering how hard this man is working. I don't even think Donald Trump's been able to sleep more than 3 or 4 hours. He's going from country to country to country collecting hundreds of billions of dollars in investment. He's working tirelessly. He's trying to end multiple wars at once, whether it's what's going on in Israel, Gaza.
My administration shares the hope of so many in this region for future of safety and dignity of the Palestinian people. But that cannot happen as long as Gaza's leaders take delight in torturing and murdering innocent people. I greatly appreciate the constructive role that the leaders in this room have played in trying to bring the terrible conflict to an end, including by helping secure the release of American hostage Idan Alexander. It was a big day yesterday, a very important day. I was told just before I left that they were going to be releasing Idan. We thought Idan was dead 3 weeks ago. They said Idan was no longer living. And it was a very, very good thing. Ultimately, all hostages of all nationalities must be released as a stepping stone to peace, and I think it's going to be happening. A lot of things are happening. A lot of very positive things are happening on every front.
At the same time, he's trying to have a face-to-face talk with President Putin, because from his perspective, it seems as though the negotiations have slowed down a little bit, and so he's saying, well, if I have to involve myself personally, I will.
You're disappointed in the level of the delegation that the Russians sent to Turkey.
I don't know anything about it. I'm not disappointed in anything. Who are you from?
BBC News.
I'm not disappointed. What would I be disappointed? We just took in $4 trillion, and he says, are you disappointed about a delegation? I know nothing about a delegation. I haven't even checked. Look, nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay? And obviously he wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go. He wasn't going if I wasn't there. And I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together, but we're going to have to get it solved because too many people are dying.
This guy's doing so much, he's not sleeping, sleepless nights, non-stop work, globe-trotting, and this is what they hit him with. Oh, he's just doing it for himself. Honestly, you can miss me with that crap. And actually, Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt put it further into perspective with this latest tweet, again addressing the phony narrative that leftists in the journalism world are attempting to spin. She writes this on X. President Trump's first official foreign trip was a huge success, full of great deals for America. President Trump announced Saudi Arabia's $600 billion commitment to invest in the United States, marking a new historic era of partnership between our two countries. President Trump also signed an agreement with Qatar to generate an economic exchange worth at least $1.2 trillion. The president also announced economic deals totaling more than $243 billion between the United States and Qatar, including a historic sale of a Boeing aircraft and GE Aerospace engines to Qatar Airways. President Trump announced over $200 billion in commercial deals between the United States and the United Arab Emirates, and in total, President Trump secured over $2 trillion in investment agreements with these Middle Eastern nations, paving the way for a more safe and prosperous world. So Trump's doing deal-making, and the undertone of this deal-making seems to have a diplomatic foreign policy approach. I think his angle is quite clear from this interview right over here where he speaks about Iran.
Iran wants to trade with us, okay, if you can believe that, and I'm okay with it. I'm using trade to settle scores and to make peace, but I've told Iran, we make a deal, you're going to be very happy. But more than anything, I've told Iran very simply, because I heard somebody making my case last night on television. I didn't like it, because they were saying, there's plenty of time, but there's not plenty of time. There's not plenty of time.
You feel urgency.
Well, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and eventually they'll have a nuclear weapon, and then the discussion becomes a much different one.
The guy's putting it all on the line to try to do the right thing, to try to get good, beneficial deals done for the American people, to try to bring peace and prosperity across the globe. It is transparent that that is exactly what he's trying to do, but the bickering press at home goes, does he just want to build a hotel in Qatar? Karoline Leavitt should be pissed. And honestly, frankly, so should you, because these lazy, narrative-driven talking points are starting to give me a headache. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.